Alright, today we're going to talk about some ideas that you can deal with when it comes to finding factors um, to an equation, okay, and how we can do that in the calculator. We're also going to talk about some stat edit ideas that you can do as well for your tests. So here we go. Um, this problem here says which of the following binomials is a factor of x squared minus x minus 6. What you're going to do is you're going to use the y equals feature, and you're going to be able to figure out what the answer is using this idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to do y equals, and we're going to do x squared minus x minus 6. So you're going to type that in to the calculator like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at the graph before you do anything else. We're going to take a look at our graph here. Okay. So what we have here is we got our graph going up and around. Okay. And notice that we have two x-intercepts. All right. These two x-intercepts will help us determine what the factors are in this problem. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the y equals to figure out a, b, c, or d. All right. So here we go. What you're going to do is you're going to keep the 1 in y1, and you're going to look at y2. So I'm going to type in letter A into y2, and we're going to take a look at the graph as soon as you type it. Okay. We're going to take a look at the graph, and when we graph it, the line goes through here. Notice that it goes through this x-axis right here. All right. So since it did not go through one of these two x-axis x-intercepts, then this is telling us it is not the answer. All right. So A is not their answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear out y2. We're going to type in letter B. You type in x minus 2. Again, we're going to hit graph. And the line, again, goes through right here. All right. Does not go through one of our x-intercepts on the first line, so it is not one of our answers. So letter B is not our answer. We're going to clear out again y2. We're going to do x minus 3. We're going to hit graph again. And our line goes through one of the x-intercepts of the first line. This is telling us that our answer is x minus 3. And so we would choose C as our answer. Okay? All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to show you is on this test here. Okay, on this test here, there was two problems that use the same feature, okay, which is a factor of this expression. And again, when you're going to do this in the y equals, you're going to use x here. So what I would do is I would pause the video right here, try out this problem using the calculator, and see what answer you would get. Alright, so hopefully you have paused the video to do this problem, and the answer you should get is letter D. Alright, and again, remember, replace the x, the n with x's as you type this in. Okay. Alright, next thing I'm going to show you here is a couple of other ideas that we can do here. Alright, here we go. Come on. Scrolling down, there's a lot of problems on this test here. Okay, I'm going to revisit a couple things here. Okay, we're going to revisit how to input data into your calculator. Alright, so here we go. There we go, that should work. Okay, which equation best represents this data set? And anytime you get a data set, you're going to use the stat edit feature. Okay, but before we do that, I want you to spend time practicing this idea. The day that you start your test, the first thing you need to do is you need to turn on the diagnostics button. Okay, so I'm going to turn on diagnostics here. Okay, so I'm going to hit second 0. Okay, second 0. This brings you to the catalog, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type where the letter D is. The letter D is over here at x to the negative first power, so that's that button. So the A tells you can type in a letter. So I'm going to type in the letter D. Okay, I'm going to go down to diagnostics on. So as you can see here, the arrow's going down. Alright, I'm going to put this in the middle here. Okay, just show you where it's exactly at. This is the one you want, diagnostic on. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to hit enter. You're going to hit enter again. And when you see the word done on the screen, that tells you you have diagnostics. Now, this is the first thing you should do when you get your calculator the day of your test. Another thing that you should do is if you have any issues whatsoever on your test, you need to raise your hand and ask for a new calculator. Any issues at all with the calculator. If you're having error issues, if you're having things that not working for you properly, even if the calculator batteries die, you need to raise your hand and ask for a new calculator, because maybe something you're typing in or something that has happened while you were doing your test has had an error occur. And so if you need to change your calculator to get a different one, then raise your hand and ask for a new calculator. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. So now our diagnostics is on. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to type in this data set. Now all the x values are going to go into L1, and all the y values are going to go into L2. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go stat, enter. Okay, we're going to edit this data set, so all these data points are going to go into L1. So we're going to do -4, -3, -2. Okay, so all the x values. If you see the word data and you have a set of data like this, this is what you do. Okay? If you have an x and a y, this is what you do. Alright, so I got my x's in. I'm going to put in now the y values. Alright. And here we go. Get these y values in. Alright, so we have all of our x's, all of our y's. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see which one will represent the data best. Here we go. We're going to go to Stat, hit right over to Calc, and two different equations you've worked with all year are linear and quadratic. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the linear one first to see if this guy is linear. Go down to 4, you hit enter. Now on my calculator, I have to go down to calculate. On your calculator, you probably have to hit enter. Okay, this is our data. Okay, and as you can see, as we have our data input, we have 1.057 da da da. We have -4.1 da 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 da. Okay. Now this is the important part for you. Okay. Notice that these values are rounded in our C and D problem. It looks closely, looks like it could be C. However, the diagnostics being on will tell you if it's linear or quadratic. All right. The R value tells you this. Okay. Since the R is 0.56, we're going to write that number down. If R, whichever one has R closer to 1, or if R equals 1, that is telling you that is the right equation. Okay? Since this one is 0.56, this is telling us it's probably not going to be linear. Okay? It's not very close to 1, so we're going to take a look at what the quadratic looks like. Alright? So now we're going to do the quadratic. So we go back to Stat, Calc, Quad Reg. We're going to hit Enter. Again, I got to go down to Calculate. You probably have to just hit Enter again. Okay? Same values, pretty much. Okay, we got that 1.05. But look at this R squared. This R squared says 0.99. Okay? And basically this is telling us right now that R is probably 0.99. or 0.98. And that's telling us, since this is closer to 1, this is telling us this is most likely our equation. And so we're going to eliminate C and D now, and we're going to look at and see if it's A or B. Well, A is positive, so both of those have A is positive. B is positive, B is positive. C is negative, and so since C is negative, B is going to be our answer choice here. Okay, and this is why it's important to have diagnostics on. Okay, here's a problem for you. Okay, that you can do using the stat edit feature right here. Okay, notice that you have linear equations here, and then you have quadratic equations here. Okay, what I would do is I would put in this data, check to see if it's linear, because A and B are linear, C and D are quadratic. So I would have you pause the video, and I would want you to do this whole problem right here using the same features that we just talked about. Use the stat edit feature, put in your x values into L1 and your y values to L2. In order for you to do that though, you need to clear out the data. Okay? So what you're going to do is you go to stat edit again, and to clear out the data, you go up and highlight L2. You hit the clear button, then press down. Then you go over and up to L1. Press clear, press down. Then type in your data for x, so 0, 1, 2, 3. And then type in your y's, 1, 2, 5, and 10. And then from here, I want you to go into stat calc, see if it's a linear linreg number 4, see if the linreg is right. If not, then go on to quadreg to see if it's one of these two. I would double check both. Okay? It should tell you whether or not one is closer to 1 versus the other. So pause this video right now, see which one it is, and do this problem. By doing this problem, you should have seen that the answer is C. And we can do that by going to linreg first. And when you go down the linreg, you will see that R is 0.958. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. However, A is 3 and B is 0. And if you look at this very carefully, this would say that y equals 3x plus 0. And none of these guys equal y equals 3x plus 0. So A and B are out. We now check calc. Again, stat calc and go down the quad. Number 5, quadreg. And then this one here, look at the r squared. This is 1, so this is definitely what we want, the quadreg. And what it says is A is 1 and C is 1. So what we would have is y equals 1x squared plus 0x plus 1, which resembles letter C. Okay? Alright. Quadreg feature is very helpful. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to find another problem for you that you can do with this. Okay? Alright, so here's a good problem. Again, you're going to use the stat edit feature. Okay? Anytime it says line of best fit, you're going to use number 4, linreg. So do this problem. Okay? Pause the video, do this problem, and see what you come up with. Now, you're going to need the equation. So what you're going to need to do is figure out what the equation is first before you figure out what the output is when the input is 13. Okay, the 13 is going to be your x value. Alright, so you're going to come up with your equation for your linreg, and then you're going to input 13 in for x and solve it and one of these numbers is going to be your answer. So I would suggest you pause the video and do this problem. By doing this problem, you should find that the answer is 170. Okay? Alright, the last thing I want to show you here. Oh, nope. Last thing I'm going to show you here is how to do the z-score formula. Okay? The z-score formula will be given to you on your SOL. Oops, going too fast here. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can fit the whole thing on the screen there. There we go. Alright. Z-score formula is going to be given to you on the test. Alright, and your z-score formula, I'm going to scroll all the way up here. Hopefully it's on here. Is it on here? No, they didn't give it to you. Okay. Alright, we're going to do our best here to tell you what the z-score formula is without... Whoa, okay. Sorry. Hopefully I didn't make you sick. Okay, so here we go. The z-score formula is using the mean and the standard deviation and the element of the data set. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do the abbreviation here. I don't have any tool to write down how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the best I can how to take care of this problem. So I'm going to clear my screen here. Okay. Alright, so the z-score formula is this. Z equals the element in the data set, so 709, minus the mean, 720. You're going to do that first. You hit enter, negative 11. You take this answer and you divide it by the standard deviation of 6. I'll let you do that problem. So by doing this, you're taking the element of the data set minus the mean. So negative 11 is your answer. So I'm taking the answer, negative 11, divided by the standard deviation, which is 6. And you'll have a formula sheet, and it'll have that exact formula on the paper. And you will probably have a problem similar to this one. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to hit enter. And this is our answer, negative 1.833 repeated, so we would pick the letter D. Okay? Alright, so showing you a lot in this video. I can't really think of anything else at this time that I could help you with. I'm going to try to think of anything else over the weekend. And if I do remember anything, I will give you a heads up of those things. But as of right now, I will send this video, and good luck on your test, and do your best. Okay, that's all we can say. Do your best. Use some of the calculator skills that I've shown you in these videos. Do more practice problems. Try to figure out which ideas that I've shown you. Okay, the ideas that you will need to use for your test are the following. Okay, number 1, store. Okay, store, you can do about 20 to 25 problems. Okay, so that's the first thing you should do. The second idea is y equals. Y equals, you could probably do about 5 to 10. And then last but not least, the stat edit feature. You can probably do about 5 to 7 problems using stat edit. By just doing those ideas, those 3 options, you get about 2/3 of your test. The other 20 questions or so, you will need to know how to do. Some of them will be easy and some of them will be hard. If you happen to get stuck somewhere, go to a different problem and work on that problem. If there's problems you can do them. If you feel good about other problems, do them. Don't try to waste your time being frustrated on a problem that you can't do. Alright? All we ask is do your best. Take your time and don't get frustrated. It's going to be a long test. You're going to need every little ounce of energy you have. Take breaks as needed. Alright? If you need to take a break, take a break. If you need something to relax for a second and just not look at the paper, do that. Okay? You want to feel as comfortable as possible doing the problems before your test. So, do some JLabs. Look at this test again. Look at the 2014 test that I've sent. Okay? Do those problems, work hard. There's other documents that I've given as well. Okay? So, look at those things. Look at the problems and what you did. Look at the videos again. Do those things before Monday and you will be okay. Alright? The last thing I can say is good luck, and I know you'll be fine. Alright? Don't worry. Feel confident. Get a good night's sleep before your test, and make sure you eat some food and drink some water before you go into the test. Okay? If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, and I will send any other videos if I think of anything else off the top of my head that